There's a movement gaining steam to arm teachers in the wake of Newtown. In Tennessee, a state lawmaker is pushing a bill that would require armed staff members in schools, and it would also open the door to teachers carrying guns in the classroom. Senior national correspondent John Roberts is joining us live now in Atlanta with more on this. John?
Good afternoon to you. It's actually a movement that is growing across the country. We want to show you a little bit of videotape. This is from a couple of years ago. It's from a high school in Sullivan County, eastern Tennessee. A school resource officer, an armed guard, in a terrifying 10-minute-long standoff with a gunman who burst into the school. She held him at bay in this face-to-face confrontation until sheriff's deputies arrived and shot him dead on the scene. Today, a Tennessee state senator has introduced legislation that would require an armed guard in every public school across the state. And if schools did not have the money to hire a school resource officer, they could put in place a teacher who has the same level of training with a weapon. State Senator Frank Niceley is the one who introduced the bill today. He told me that in the wake of the Newtown shooting in Connecticut, we just can't leave school students unprotected, even if it means a teacher is the last line of defense. Here's what he said.
They pass the psychological evaluation, pass the criminal background check, and are willing to commit to take the proper level of training, they'll be just as safe as a resource officer or a deputy or a retired highway patrolman.
There was initially some opposition to this idea. It came from one of the largest teachers unions. Also, the Republican Speaker of the House was skeptical about this. That opposition has since been tempered some because this focuses mostly on these resource officers before going down the line to armed teachers. But still, some Democrats are against the idea of putting weapons into the hands of teachers at school. Representative Darren Jernigan is one of them. Here's his rationale, according to what he told me.
They have a mentality of nurturing students, a mentality of educating students, but not necessarily of defending them with arms. If they wanted to go into law enforcement, I think they would have.
Certainly, Tennessee is not alone in this push to arm teachers. In addition to Tennessee, 13 other states here across the country, marked in yellow, have introduced similar measures. The South Dakota House passed a measure yesterday. That's now been put on to the Senate. In Texas, at least 3 school districts allow teachers to carry concealed weapons, and a measure in Colorado, a very similar measure, was just rejected there. But because there is a Republican supermajority in the Tennessee legislature, Niceley believes that his bill will pass, which would, to the best of our knowledge, make Tennessee the first state that would officially sanction armed teachers in schools across the state.
Very interesting. And that video that you showed us just a few moments ago was very compelling and quite dramatic.
Yeah, that was just a couple of years ago. That was August 30th, 2010. And you can imagine what might have happened had that resource officer not been there right at the very beginning when that gunman entered the school to confront him head on. It is actually rather remarkable that she held him off in that face-off for 10 minutes rather than trying to take a shot at him.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. Thank you so much, John.